We have, do you know if Brock's in yet, Kimber?
Yes.
He's in yet. Okay. Again, I'm not putting you off. I have a broken knuckle. Just. Okay. So we've been waiting for this. So excited to have Chris here. She is the one with the absolute most knowledge of what's happening in Mountain View Village. So thank you so much for being here. We're excited to hear what you have. First of all, we wanted to give the floor to Brock. They do accountability every morning. He and Terry, every morning they do accountability, and everybody's welcome to come to that. So it's at 8:30 to 9. Quick accountability via Zoom. We invite everybody to do that. Should we give him the floor? Is he there? Can you see him?
I'm here, yep.
This is so weird. We can hear through the speakers now. Okay, Brock, take it away.
All right, cool. So every morning, you got to give us some grace there. One of us is there every morning, but I slacked the past 2 mornings, so I'm sorry. Thanks, Terry, for filling in. Anyway, thanks for having me. I'm very appreciative of being partnered with you guys. I think and building some great relationships. So thank you to all of you that are trusting me and my team to help. We're enjoying working with you guys. The update I've got this week, and I'll post it in the chat, and I don't know if you want to share it with everybody after this, Emily, but I've had a lot of questions just from realtors about, what are we seeing with foreclosures or delinquencies? And, are we seeing some of that start to hit the market because of COVID? And CoreLogic just came out with a report that we are starting to see that. So delinquencies on anywhere from 30 days late to 90 and beyond, all of those are on the rise, unfortunately. I think right now is a good time for us to begin talking about this and finding ways that we can help clients that are in this position, and I'm sure there's opportunity in it. But one of the biggest stats that we got was 30-day delinquencies are up to 7.1% as of June of 2020, which is almost double what they were last year. And I think a lot of this information is still fresh, and thankfully in Utah, we're certainly nowhere near the leaderboard on delinquencies. So I think our market is staying healthy, but that's one big question I've had, and I just shared the link for the CoreLogic report. So you have some data and you can be more knowledgeable on that, share it with your clients. Aside from that, on the lending side, programs keep coming available more and more and more. I think COVID is kind of just something that is among us now, and lenders aren't as freaked out. So we're seeing a lot of jumbo stuff come back. Cross Country actually has in-house, alternative options like bank statement loans and different things like that for, even jumbo loans that applies to. So we're seeing a lot of that stuff come back, which is really good. And besides that, one thing that we are offering that's extraordinary in comparison to what the market offers, and I know because lenders like us, any lender actually offers all the same jumbo loan products. And with Cross Country and our team, we have pretty significant options for jumbo that are very, very competitive, like the 30-year rates in the 2s, and depending on LTV, those rates in the 2s are even valid for people with FICOs under 700. So really good options for jumbo. And I think that's, especially in Salt Lake, becoming more prevalent. We'll see what happens with loan limits into 2021, but prices going up is creating a lot more need for jumbo. So we've got a lot of good options for that.
Awesome. Do we have any questions from the chat for Brock? It still just blows my mind that we're at 2% for interest rates, in the 2%. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yep.
So thank you.
I ran a quick little analysis on my pipeline, and our average rate right now is 2.82%. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, Brock.
Yes.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So I know that through the feds trying to stimulate our economy, you've got quite a few people that are on voluntary loan deferments.
Mm-hmm.
Is that being calculated into this?
I would say no, because none of that's being reported to credit. So
Okay.
it's the ones that are post deferment that are actually going delinquent is what we're seeing, which is why, I probably breezed through it a little bit because I don't want to be doom and gloom at all. We'll see what happens, but I do think we'll see more of this information come available because most of the deferments, they were 6 months long. Most of those end this month. So time will tell. Next month we'll probably have some better stats that give us some more clarity on what delinquencies actually are.
Right. Gotcha. Thanks, Brock.
Yep, no problem. Thank you guys.
And then Candace, you want to ask your question?
Yeah, Brock, what's the minimum down for like jumbo loans? So there's a lot of homes in the 800 to a million range. What's the minimum they can get down on a one product?
So you can, there are options for 10% down on jumbo. The terms change a lot and lenders are still staying conservative on an equity perspective, meaning they're wanting money down, but depending on the loan amount, there are options with as little as 10% down, especially in that ballpark, that 800, which is kind of really in Salt Lake, not jumbo, it's pretty average in the higher end. So there are options to get 10% down, but then there's other, we've got options where you can even do a hybrid first and second and get as little as 5% down on those types of properties. We can put a second mortgage in up to, I think it's 350,000 and go up to 95%. So we could do a conforming first and a second behind it and, eliminate a lot of down payment that way.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much. You got to
Thank
keep
you.
up on this stuff. So if you have any specific questions, reach out to Brock and his team. They're awesome. Okay, I think you got to click back on, like,
Can we stop here? Or do you just want to go to the next slide?
I'm going to go to the next slide. So you just have to in order for it to go back, you just have to click it and then it'll let me go. Okay, will you show this video? So we're going to be doing a quick commercial spotlight. We've got a big commercial spotlight here in a sec. This is coming from Boyd Brown's team. We get a lot of questions about commercial and what's going on with that. And so we asked him to send us something every week that we can share with you to give you a little more info.
All right, are you ready?
Ready?
Okay, I just need to screen share again. Sorry, I'm learning this right here with you.
Welcome to the Commercial Minute. I'm your host, Sandra Webster, and we will be talking about 1031 exchanges today. So I want to go over one experience I had in the last week working with a 1031 exchange. We have a landowner in Saratoga who's worried about capital gains taxes on a piece of farmland that he owns and has owned for 10 years. He bought this property for $600,000 and is now going to sell it for $1.4 million. He is worried about 1031 exchange and the ability to exchange out of land and into something income producing. And so his hesitation was with land, he thought he needed to exchange only into land. That is not true. So with the 1031 exchange code, you are allowed to exchange into a lifetime.
I can hear the video.
Many people they portray that as going from land to land or apartments to apartments, but that's not the case. It's anything that was purchased with the intent of investment. So he bought this farmland with the intent of leasing it to a farmer or farming it himself. So technically, you can classify that as purchasing with the intent to invest. So with that, anything into a lifetime investment, any income producing, any investment type of real estate, whether that be apartments, storage units, warehouses, office, retail, as long as that's still an investment, that's still will count as an exchange. Happy to answer any questions when it comes to commercial real estate. If you have any needs or would like to refer any clients to us, we are more than happy to pay you the referral fee and take excellent care of your clients. Thank you.
Okay, you want to stop it? Okay, so it sounds like you Zoomers couldn't hear that video. So I'll send it out with the link to this, but it's just a quick info on 1031 exchanges. So we'll get that sent out to you. Okay, will you go back to the slide? And I think it's just going. Oh, yeah, as she's getting onto that. So the next thing is I just wanted to remind you about our RPAC donation contest. So we want to give you $500. So put you in a drawing to donate. We're trying to get every one of our agents to donate the minimum, at least $15. and then we can go ahead and enter you into a drawing for a $500 gift card. So our PAC does so much for us. They're the ones that helped us stay essential when everything got locked down. There's so many things. I mean, they've prevented having taxes on our commissions, additional like a sales tax on our commission. They're the ones who've prevented the capital gains after 2 years, having to pay capital gains after 2 years. So there's so much that they actively do for us in our state specifically. So it's really, really important, especially right now where things are ever changing, to donate. So $15. If you just log into the Salt Lake Board of Realtors, there's a link right on the front page. Just click that and you can donate there. So $15. Are we going to do it?
Yes.
We're going to do it. Okay. That was very meager, but I'm guessing you're cheering in your hearts. Okay. So let's get started. You can stop this and let's go and share. And Chris, if you want to come up. So we've been watching this development grow, right? Out the Mountain View corridor. And I'm really excited. So Boyd knows Chris. So we've got the link up. We got the hook up right here. And he was able to connect me with her. She is, and I would love to share with all of us kind of your bio and how you got into this project and what you do. And then hopefully we have some time for some questions, but she's got quite a bit of info to share with us now. This is really good stuff to share with your people. So make notes, take pictures. Oh, yeah, I'll share. It might pick you up, but let's just do it. I might have turned it off. This is day one, like I said.
Can you hear me?
Still here?
Can you hear me? Somebody just.
Yeah, they can hear
Yes,
you.
okay. Well, thanks for having me, you guys. I am really excited to be working in this particular market. My name is Chris Byers. I'm with CenterCal Properties. We're a company based in Los Angeles, California. We're a commercial mixed-use developer. We own 22 shopping centers in 5 Western states, up and down the West Coast, Washington, Oregon, California, and Utah and Idaho. And we build big mixed-use centers. We have 3 here locally now. Station Park in Farmington, if you all are familiar with that. A little project in Park City called Canyon Corners, which is the Whole Foods little center there, right off Kimball Junction. And we are.
You go in and mute, everybody.
I think that was excitement, to be honest. Mountain View Village. We've been involved in that project. The city of Riverton and the landowner, SLR, came to us, I want to say in 2015, and said, would you guys be interested in doing a development similar to what you've done at Station Park in Farmington in our community? We've held on to this land, which is owned by the LDS Church for years and years, waiting for the right kind of development. And we think you guys are the right developer. And they were approached by all kinds of people to do, Costco's and Targets and Walmarts. And I'm glad they held off. But I think for this community, you all will be really excited that they held off, because what we're going to build and what we like to do as a developer is come in and sort of weave ourselves into the fabric of the community and provide not only a shopping experience, but a lifestyle experience and a place for gathering. And it's no secret right now that retail is like under the gun and changing and evolving, and we know that it's been happening. And the key right now, and has been for the last 10 years, is to get the consumer off of their sofa from behind their screen and get them out to shop, because it's so easy right now to shop behind your screen. And the kind of projects that CenterCal does is they're experiential. There's not just shopping, it's dining, it's office, it's every need of your life brings you to our type of center. So we will have luxury apartments. We will have 200,000 square feet of Class A office on our side alone, and then there will be up to another 2 million on the periphery of us. So it's great restaurants that you've never seen in the market before. And what really attracted us to this part of the market was just the underserved nature. I mean, the residential, you guys know, has grown so much faster than any services out here. And, you know, the way I describe it to the national retailers that I'm selling to is, you know, Salt Lake City is going through a huge change in dynamics on how the market is always traded, how it's always been seen. It's always been seen as an east-west market. We all know that. And that dynamic is going away because you can't grow on the east side anymore. There's no more homes going up there. So that affluence that would have most likely gone on the east side is now moving out here to the southwest corridor. And there are no services, and there's no better shopping, and there's no better dining. So we're coming to the market, and we're going to bring an amazing line of retail and restaurants that the state's never seen before. That's my goal. And I'm already working with a bunch of different restaurants and retailers that aren't even in the market yet, but a lot of the same duplication that you'll see in other bigger shopping centers, and some at Station Park too. So traffic is horrible in this market, as we know. And what we did up at Station Park, really for the entire community, but I mean, we built that project. I've been here for 10 years, and I've done commercial retail real estate for 30. I know I didn't start when I was 7, but I've done it forever. And what we did for that community and for the residential and the property values around it is really, really incredible. It makes me so proud to be able to see it. So this is going to be really an amazing project. And what really attracted us to this part of the market was the dynamic shift that was happening, the lack of services, and the fact that we could bring Lululemon out here and incredible. There you go. Just an incredible lineup that you never would have thought would have existed on the west side of Salt Lake 20 years ago. I grew up out here. I went to Bingham High School. This was my market, and it is so unrecognizable from where it was back in the day when I lived here. And so it's really exciting. But this is our brochure that I show to, why don't you just go to the next page? And I'll let you guys all kind of read this on your own. But this is what I sent to national retailers, to Lululemon, to Athletic, Anthropology, to, I mean, everybody that you can think of has probably seen this brochure. And, you know, it just kind of talks.
Real quick, I think it's crackling.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
No.
I'm a hand talker.
This is day 1, so we're just figuring these out.
Do you want to put it?
I don't know, that button's in the way. Can you guys still hear?
Can you guys still hear me?
Virtual people?
Oh, there we go. Is it choppy?
Still?
I wonder if I should put it on the inside of my shirt. I could hold it. Sure. No, you're fine. Is that better? Okay, I'll hold it. Okay. No, that's okay. So a little bit of background on CenterCal Properties. So CenterCal Properties is about 18 years old. We're funded by the second largest pension fund in the world, called CalSTRS. It's the California Teachers Retirement System. So we really pride ourselves in taking these hard-earned teachers' salaries and retirements and investing them into our projects. And we really focus on education within our projects. And all of our projects have some sort of art installation and these gathering features. So we have a great partner in our funding side. So this gives you a little bit of idea of what we're doing at Mountain View Village. It'll be about 1 million square feet at the end of the day. What you see existing today is not what phase 2 is going to look like. And that's the fun part that will come when you flip to the next one. And this is probably a lot of information that you all already know because you're local, but remember who I'm selling to are these national and international retailers. And so we talk about the job growth and the opportunities, the trade area growth, the consumer affluence I just mentioned. I mean, $800 to $1 million home didn't exist here 10 years ago. I mean, it's really incredible the amount of affluence in this market and what's going on in Silicon Slopes and the technology and the consumers that are moving to the market. So it's an underserved market and it's affordable with an exciting lifestyle. So many of the existing companies like Adobe that are moved, this is Adobe's #1 requested site to move to in the country. So people want to move to Salt Lake City. You guys know that. I'm telling you stuff that you already know. Let's flip to the next one.
You're doing great. Let's keep going. It is. It's just kind of choppy, but I might have turned it off. So.
Okay. That's okay. So this is a little bit more about the lifestyle in Utah and why we sell and how we sell this market to outsiders. The live, work, play, and invest. I mean, I don't know if you guys knew this, but there's nearly $1 billion of venture capitalist funding that was invested in technology companies that are started in Utah. And I think it's over, and that was in 2019. So, I mean, it just continues. And this is the #1, the strongest financial growing market, the fastest growing financial market in the country too, in addition to technology. And it's because these venture capitalist firms are moving here to fund all the technology. So you can flip that. There's a lot of information in here. So this is just kind of, this red line that you see around here, that's how we define where our trade area is, who's going to be coming to the shopping center on a regular basis. And that's just basically based on a 10, 15 minute drive time, what else is in the market, what we're going to be bringing to the market. And on there, it identifies some of the other major shopping destinations. So the thing that's so impressive, in my opinion, about this area in red is, I mean, there's already 600,000 people here. And it's a young demographic. Average household income is $111,000, and guys across the country, that is huge. So that stands out for the big national retailers. And then just all of these household trends, average sizes, almost 3.5 people, and the income levels are high. So you can switch that. Here's an interesting one. So when I'm selling to these nationals, they want to know, all of them know City Creek and all of them know Fashion Place, obviously. Those are the 2 big ones in the market. So I just do a little comparison on, how do we compare from a demographic profile to these other centers? And we outshine them in every aspect. The only difference is with Fashion Place, it's more dense, but we're changing. We're the fastest growing market in the country right now. And but what's so interesting, you guys know this, is the average home value in this market with a 5-mile trade area is $522,000. That's insane. Fashion Place, average home value is $390,000. And City Creek is $422,000. So that's pretty tells a really, really, really big story for me. And this is a very helpful slide when I'm marketing the center. So you can switch that. This is just everybody that is creating all this growth in this market, all these big tech companies and kind of where they're located. And I always talk about, we have 5, 6, 7, and pretty much 8, kind of 4. So everything down here is what is driving all of the residential growth and all of the commercial growth. You can go, yeah, thanks. You can keep going, yeah. So this, again, I always talk about how the east side is aging and how the west side and the southwest corridor is where all the growth is. And the next slide, you can flip to the next one. The next slide is just visually what this is. So this is, each circle represents a high school. And so the bigger the dot, the bigger the high school, which means the bigger, the younger the demographic is. And it's just, it's not aging. So these are young families with money in these particular markets. So that just kind of demonstrates from a commercial aspect of where the growth is and how it's where they're living. So college and universities, I mean, this is obvious. You can scroll down. So this is another one. So when I'm selling to a little higher end retailer, you know, Anthropologie, Lululemon, some of the other a little more focused, even Pottery Barn, Williams-Sonoma, like these guys, they want to know, where are these McMansions? Where are they? How close are they to my project? And, you know, how often will that consumer end up at my store? So I spent like 2 whole days and just drove the market and took pictures of samples of homes. And these are clearly just, you know, but, you know, I went all the way to Saratoga Springs, Eagle Mountain, obviously way surrounded in our neighborhood, but up into Draper, like Draper will end up shopping at Mountain View Village. They'll come here, they can hop on Bangor Highway and be here in 5 minutes, 10 minutes maybe. But even the northern part of Utah County will end up shopping there as well. So anyway, so this is an impressive slide for those tenants or that want to understand who the consumer is. You guys probably know this as much as I do, but this is what's happening on the rest of that land owned by SLR. So this is, well, this is Costco. Did you know that they just mobilized and started construction, and apparently they are going to open about this time next year.
Oh, wait. So is this the hospital right here? What's this?
That is Home Depot.
Oh, Home Depot. So this is 134.
This is 134. This is Mountain View Corridor, and this is Bangor. So this is phase 1 of our project right here.
That's where the Home Goods and
This is where Home Goods and Costco is going on 132nd, just north of us.
That's crazy. It's only 18 miles.
So what's crazy to me is that, and this plays into a big part of our story, because Costco doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes when they build stores, and they're just down on 106th and Bangor. And so they're coming with a brand new big store. I think they're projecting to do like $280 million out of the store, which is insanity to me. But for them to open this time next year really helps with traffic and just showing how underserved this market is. But that really tells an enormous story to me. So this is the Costco. This is, tracks will come in on 132nd at some point. I don't know when that will happen, but the plan is to extend it from Daybreak here and come down Mountain View Corridor. And then if you look at 132nd, you'll see that the median in the middle of the street was built really wide. That's to make way for the train. So.
And where is that going? The train, is it going to go north or is it going to go far east? Do you know?
I think it will head back east, And then I don't know where from there, to be honest. I haven't seen the plan. I probably should know that, but I don't. All I know is that it's going to have a stop somewhere in our next phase along 132. So east of us, almost to Bangor Highway, will be about another 2 million square feet of commercial Class A office space. We're in letter of intent with.
Explain the map a little bit by the colors, so like the green is where
Sure.
you can't see.
Oh, yeah, sure. So the green that says future retail by SLR is where Costco will go, just to the north of our site. The orange that you see will be 2,400 new residential units. So all of this here. And then the gray, which you see on the bottom part of the screen down here, is south of us. And that's another 1,370 new homes. And I mean, when you talk about just like almost 4,000 new homes just going in right here, it's just mind-boggling to me, the amount of growth. And so, you know, that's the big master plan community that SLR and the city of Riverton has planned. We've been contacted by Harriman City to do another smaller project on the west side of the Mountain View corridor to kind of play off of everything that we've got going on. And I mean, at the end of the day, 1 million square feet is probably not going to be enough to accommodate all the retail that wants to be here, which is crazy to think about, but but it's exciting too. So you can go scroll down. Here's our overall plan. So again, what you see in the yellow on the left side of your screen, that's all phase one. We have Ross is opening this next month, I think, probably end of October. We have Sierra in line over here that will be opening next spring. And then we're in lease with a tenant called Five Below, which is, they're kind of the hot new mid-box tenant. They're based in the South, and they are not in the South, on the East Coast, and they are kind of a, I don't know how to describe them. It's like everything is $5 and below, but it's like moms and tweens all day long in that store, buying the latest AirPods, and it's just a bunch of knockoff stuff. But they're super fun, and moms and kids and dads love it because they can go in there and just get a ton of stuff. And they're coming to the market and opening, I think, 7 stores. And they'll all open next spring. And so we're excited that we got them in our last box here on the CenterCal. And then you go across Eagles Flight Road, and this is all in the pink. That's all of our phase 2. That is this building right here. So that one is the biggest building. And we stopped construction because we went back out to bid for our contractors, and we're actually switching contractors. So I don't know if I can announce who we're going with, but we did switch contractors. And yeah, neither will the 4 people on the phone either. But so this building is out of the ground. We're going to start construction again sometime in the next probably 3 weeks. So you'll start to see more activity. But this is retail on the first level and 3 levels of office above that. And then we have our park. Again, this is the crown jewel of what CenterCal does. We do these great parks with show fountains and gathering areas. And, you know, the idea is, even if you're not going to spend any money, just come and be there. It's date night. It's come and just feel good and watch the fountain, and, you know, hopefully you'll spend money too. But we just really want to be that gathering place for the community. So Cinemark Theaters is lease executed. You'll start to see that building come out of the ground. And then you've got, this is all single level retail. specialty retail, retail below office, and a single level retail. And then some pads. And what you see over here on the far right of your screen. Oh,
Oh, no, I was just, you just had a question about what.
Sure.
are looking for Class A space.
I want to say mid to high 20s, probably. But don't quote me on that. I don't do the office, so I just do retail. But my guess is that's kind of where we are. And we're in letter of intent with 190,000 square foot tenant for a Class A office and 145,000 square foot tenant for Class A office. So what we're finding, and just kind of to digress just a little bit, at Station Park, you all know that Pluralsight moved out here to the south end of the valley. They were with us in 75,000 square feet at Station Park. They were one of our first tenants in our office, and they just left, opened 300,000 feet here in Draper, and we've backfilled them already at Station Park. During COVID, we signed 2 leases, one for 30,000 feet, one for 45,000 feet, office leases. And
I was gonna ask you about that, because that was the big thing with so many people working from home.
Yeah.
Like big companies, Amazon, Facebook, all these companies, they're not even talking about opening offices.
Yeah.
They're all still working from home. It sounds like you haven't seen that impact too.
you know what's interesting is that you're right. And people, I think downtown, I think the last thing people want to do is get in a high-rise elevator with a bunch of people really close right now. And so I do think that our type of real estate is what is appealing to these bigger companies right now, or any companies for that matter, that feel like they need to have an office presence and just not a remote office environment. So because because the retail or the office tenants and the employees can come here and not leave all day and get in their car and go to lunch, or get in their car and go to the gym, or they can go to the gym in the morning, and then they can meet their wife for a drink after work or whatever. They don't have to leave. So I think it's our type of environment that will benefit from much of these office closures. So at least that's what we've seen, and it's proving to be true. So anyway, I think it's interesting that we did get those 2 letter of intent signed. One is already opened in 30,000 feet. So it's pretty amazing, but it does speak to this mixed use type of development too. And then on the far right of your screen, where you see these gray type buildings, that is the luxury apartments that we'll be doing. So these guys are developers. They have an office here in Newport Beach, and they've done 2 developments downtown, 400 West and Hardware. And I don't know if you guys know who they are. It's called Salt Development. So they are amazing.
I thought they were local to themselves. I just assumed.
They have a local presence, but they do work in Southern California as well. But they do really, really great work, and they're sort of to residential multifamily what we are to retail, where it's all experiential and great amenities, and so we're really excited to have them on site with us. And they came to us and wanted to do something with us. So you can flip that. Keep going. So this is just kind of, that's the residential look and feel. You'll have amazing amenities, great features. And what these guys do is they work with downtown, as an example, they worked with Goldman Sachs and got all the relocation people from Goldman Sachs that came to the market from San Francisco, New York, and all these big cities, and paid high rents, lived there for a year or however long until they figured out where they wanted to buy. So, it ends up being sort of a temporary stopping ground for them while they figure out the market and then decide what they want to do. So we're really excited to have them with us. And then here's some rendering. So this is, here's the theater. Here's the big building that's under construction right now. This is a little food pavilion. We'll have 4 food tenants in here. We have a lease executed with a ramen guy, a coffee guy, and I'm in LOI with 2 more tenants that will be great for the market. But you can just see how this gathering area will work and function, and drop off areas. And then if you'll flip to the next slide. And this is on the east side of the project. So this is kind of a drop-off area that we're going to kind of designate as like the Uber drop-off or Lyft drop-off, or, you know, when parents are going to come to drop their kids off to shop or hang out or whatever, this is kind of where it will be. So while it appears on the site plan to be the back of the project, it's actually not. So you can flip through. And I think one thing you'll find with our projects is there is just a ton of attention paid to detail, like patios and the energy that we build in the gathering areas with outside dining and patios and you know, fire pits and just places to be. So this market is really going to be excited about this. You can flip that. I think the rest is just, you know, imagery. So I think that is all. You want to, you know what, go back, is there a link on here for a video? Did I send that to you?
No, but I know which video you're talking about.
Do you?
The one that's on the site about the
Yeah. Do you want to play that? Because there's usually a link on this, but I don't know if that happened to come through. We're trying to take the travel piece out of the approval process for this phase 2. Yeah, it's right there. I think that's it. And so we're trying to do all kinds of virtual stuff because retailers just aren't getting on planes and coming anymore for a while. So we don't know when that's going to start again. But this project will grand open in April of 2022. So we got about 18 months left to finish all the development and build. So this is what it looks like as you're kind of cruising through it.
And remember what you said, that they'll have to watch it.
Oh, because it won't go through.
Our choices arrive somewhat unexpectedly, don't they? They appear and disappear, gently shaping who we become. Our choices shape our future, our definition of happiness and success. They create a center of gravity in our lives. For some, that means the balancing of work, fitness, and family life. For others, choices are the rituals that define how we interact with the world. Choosing how we work, how we live, and how we grow. Choosing the clothing we wear and the food we eat. With every new choice, we design our future. The dreams that we chase, the victories we celebrate, the community we love, and the people we share it with. We designed Mountain View Village with the future in mind.
So that's it. It's exciting. When I first saw that video, it almost made me cry because when you work on something for so long, to see it actually come to life really is very satisfying. So, well, thank you. Yeah, so again, when we're dealing with these national retailers and they want to understand the trajectory of the market, it's hard for them to wrap their heads around really, oh, we're growing, you know, at a 28% population growth in a 5-year period. They're like, why, how, where does that come from? Is that really true? And without getting them here to actually drive the market and understand it or fly it in a helicopter and see it, we hired a company called Rico that actually do grocery store studies for national grocery stores across the country. And they went boots on the ground. They went to every building department and pulled up every active development that has 50 or more units in it. And they uncovered 131,000 new residential units coming to this market. And I mean, that's going to happen over the next 10 years or maybe longer, or maybe sooner, just depending on demand and what happens with our economy. But this is where they're all identified. And our site, is that it? Yeah, that's the site. Our site's here, so you can just see how much growth is happening. And then this northwestern part of Utah County, which is in our primary trade area because of Mountain View Corridor. So you guys are going to be busy. But good for you. So can I answer any questions? Is there anything that, yes?
I like food.
Mm-hmm.
And I am wondering, are you trying to reach out to other food restaurants other than what we have on every other street corner or every other shop?
I'm glad you asked that. Oh, sorry.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm really glad you asked that. Our developments we try to make them unique. We try not to make it look like every other shopping center up and down the I-15 corridor or anywhere else. We pride ourselves on our restaurant mixes. So the answer is no. Could there be some crossover? Yes, but you're not going to see Outback Steakhouse and Olive Garden and Chili's, that kind of stuff in our developments. You know what's funny is that I think a couple of years ago they were looking to come to this market. So I know. No, what I want to do is bring sophistication here, and and this is where I think I can use all of your help. The hardest thing to do, you guys, is to sell this market, the Utah market, to cool, hip restaurants that are focused on the money they make from alcohol sales. It's incredibly hard. And that's why you don't see many of these type of restaurateurs come to this market. They're afraid of it. Now, perception is a lot worse than reality, but I try to figure out all the time, how do I sell that how do I get rid of that perception and sell what is really happening? I mean, we have a lobbyist on that we pay on a contract basis who's an alcohol, food and beverage lobbyist that helps me with some of that stuff and helps these restaurateurs get comfortable. But we, at Station Park, we brought in a restaurant called Twig's Martini Bar. I mean, who would have thought that a martini bar would have gone to Farmington? But it was such an eye-opener because out of the gate, 30% of their sales was alcohol in Farmington, which is mind-blowing. And people don't believe me when I tell them that. So, I think all those kind of stories. And I think where I would ask you guys, like, who's moving to this market? Who's buying homes in Daybreak? Is it locals? Is it transplants? Who's buying homes all up and down this Western corridor? Help me with that story. And I always say, look, these people are moving from California. They're moving from Boston. They're moving from New York. They're moving from Portland and Seattle. And they want what they had in their market. So I just need to substantiate the transplants that are coming to this market and be able to say, not that there's anything wrong with our culture, but it's getting diluted because more people are moving to the market and to bring a sophistication level that, we haven't seen before in what we want in services. So we're going to bring better restaurants to this market. I'm hoping it is helping us right now with the whole COVID thing, if you can imagine, not helping anything, but where restaurants usually want to come is to go downtown. And right now, nobody's thinking downtown. Nobody's thinking urban. Everybody's thinking suburban. Everybody's thinking, let's go to the neighborhoods. So, that's working to our favor right now. But at some point, it's going to be alive again. So
So I have a question.
Sure.
So I started at Gateway when the development started
Mhm.
in 2004. And I'm part of that. So when we're 10 years out, I can tell you what the work. It's been cool to see Daybreak all these.
It's amazing.
So they've always had a big commercial area plan. It's never really taken off. Nothing like that. And I'm just curious as to why. Why would a development like yours, where Daybreak has big money, big backing, it's definitely proven that people want to live there. I just think it's so interesting that no big commercial area. We leased a spot up there too, and it was just not great. Didn't drive in traffic, and I'm curious on what your take is on the difference.
It's all about synergy. So a lot of people have a lot of money. They don't know how to do it. And you look at the old Cottonwood Mall site up there in Holiday that has sat there forever. It's horrible. I don't live far from there. And they've never been able to think differently and think, how can I do this project without just robbing all the Fashion Place tenants, or without trying to, make it look exactly like City Creek or whatever, and Trolley Square is another one. It's like it should be amazing, and it could be. But the problem is that some of these people that have all the money don't know how to go about doing it, don't have the expertise and the vision to be able to pull it off, and then the contacts with the tenants. I mean, it's a pretty small industry. And so in order to be able to pick up the phone and call somebody at Anthropologie or at, Zara or whomever and get, yeah, please. Yeah, so Pottery Barn and Williams Sonoma are only at Trolley Square, as we know. And they came to the market and were rushed. They were here in February, actually, and were rushed and didn't get to tour all the housing sites. So I call it the 65-mile-an-hour tour, that you just drive by on the freeway and go, oh, there nobody lives there, so I'm not going to stay. I'm not going to do a store there. That's the most frustrating thing that can ever happen to me, because it's like, no. Like, we're not investing $500 million because no one lives here. There are people here. There are people with money here. So I'm still working on them. I'm still working. I have a lot of work to do, but I'm not going to give up on them. I think they'd be incredible in this market. Anybody home driven, clearly design driven, anything would kill it in this particular market. And that's, there's another tenant called Our House, which is out of the East Coast. It's home furnishings, and they want to come to the market. And they're like, well, why would we go to the west side? I said, because that's where all the homes are. What do you sell? Home furnishings? Okay. Why would you go downtown? Or it doesn't make any sense to me. So I know. Yes. So can we meet them? Do you know them? You do? Well, I would love to just strategize and figure out, how can we create momentum and a story. It's all about this story that we're telling out here. You guys get it better than anyone. And that's why I was so thrilled when Boyd asked me if I would do this, and you reached out to me, is because your story is just as important to me as mine is to you. So let's collaborate and figure out how to do this together, and how can we help each other. So there's a whole long list of tenants that I want here. I really focus on merchandising my shopping centers so that there's flow and it makes sense, and understanding who the consumer is. So I'm open for all kinds of ideas, and I am aware that influencers live out here. So I don't know how to reach them. They would probably think I was a stalker if I tried to reach them. But you guys are here all the time. So, and I do think, I'll tell you, well, I don't know if I can tell the story yet, so I better wait. But they can have an amazing impact on our business. So, and once we get open, they'll understand, but it's getting open and getting them on board early to understand the vision to help us get the right mix here is what would be important. So anything you can do. Any other questions, you guys? Yes.
I don't have a question, but I just wanted to share that I am a big fan of CenterCal. My parents live by the station park
Oh,
location.
awesome.
So I watched that one like from the ground up and saw what that did for their community. So that was actually the biggest motivator for us building our house was when we saw that you guys.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. I'm so glad to hear that. I was telling all my friends and my kids' friends, if you want a house, go buy out that way, because it is just going to do nothing but get stronger and stronger. Good for you. Yeah.
I saw the vision before, so.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that comment. And it is very true. And, you know, even like I have kids and my kids watch me beat my head against the wall. I mean, I was leasing that project in 2010 coming out of the recession. So to be able to get retailers to pay attention to Farmington, Utah was not an easy task at that point. And, once it got open, it was just like, I mean, my daughter at the time was probably, I don't know how, like 14. And she's like, Mom, I see why you worked so hard and spent all those nights away from me. But, you know, it makes you happy when you see communities gathering. And, you know, we do a ton of community events like, you know, concerts. I know they do them here in Daybreak, but we'll bring 5,000-6,000 people to a concert in Farmington, just in our little common area. And everybody wins for that. And I always tell retailers that, look, our focus is to get people there. Retail ends up to be like secondary, to be honest. It's just getting the people there, driving the people there. And then, oh, there's J. Crew, or there's Anthro, or there's whatever. And then it ends up being just common nature to say, oh, I need to go get my son some soccer cleats. We better go to Mountain View Village or Station Park because they have everything. So that's the goal. But thank you. We do change communities, and that's the biggest, most satisfying piece of what I do. Is I get to watch it. I've been in this business for 30 years. I've been working for this developer for 10. And prior to that, I did retail growth and strategy across the country for national retailers. And that was fun. And I saw a lot of shopping centers across the country, but it wasn't satisfying. Like, it didn't matter where I opened a Chico's store. At the end of the day, I didn't know any impact, but this impacts people's lives. So, yeah. Yes. Okay.
Do the retailers that you work with, like, how are they able to like access like credit card, like zip codes for where people have been shopping that live out there now, and like how they've been going to others?
So most of them have intel on their customers. They don't necessarily share it with me very often because, you know, it may change their leverage point one way or another. Thank you. Perfect. Yes. Yeah, that's one that I would love to get here. And I do think, no, and all of it helps. And what there's this new software called Placer AI, which is artificial intelligence that tracks our phones and knows everywhere we go. And it's quite freaky, and I don't like to think about it. But it tells you real-time data. It doesn't, I don't think it ties to like, I know like American Express has that kind of stuff that you can track, and then every retailer has its own information about, you know, who's shopping. And but the problem is, and this might be a couple of years old, but as an example, J.Crew would say, yeah, they call them heat maps with their customers. And they say, well, here's all the red dots of my customer, and here's where they're coming from. So why would I go to your site? And I'm like, okay, well, does that tell you how often they're shopping, or is that just one purchase they've ever made, and so now they're your customer? So frequency is what our shopping centers are about, because we have all of these daily needs. And during COVID, we've not shut down one of our shopping centers entirely, because we have essential needs. We have grocery stores in all of ours, which is, you know, the whole dynamic of retail environments, the indoor, you know, barbell shaped mall with 2 fashion anchors is gone. That is going away. And guess what? That's been going away now for 30 years. This COVID thing just kind of sped up that timeline. It didn't kill retail. It's not going to kill retail. People are still social. We all want to get out. We're all dying to get out right now. And so, you know, once we feel safe, everybody will go out, you know, and we've done, at CenterCal, we've done little things at our centers, like just visually little things, like changing the time that our janitorial staff cleans. Don't go in and clean in the morning or at night when you normally would. Do it in the middle of the day so people see it and they feel safe. They want to come back because they feel safe. Change the chemicals. Change them to where they're more fragrant so people feel like it's cleaner. So just little things like that I think we do as developers that some others may not, that makes our projects, you know, more of a destination. So more a place where people want to be. So anything else?
It's exciting, right? Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, we'll keep in touch and
That would be great.
keep everybody informed on what's going on. Yeah, let's get them out.
Would we be able to distribute some of those, or is that?
Yeah, your flyers, can we get that you sent me? We can put it
Everything
out.
I sent you guys, you can distribute. So.
Yeah, we'll get it out.
And look, if anybody ever has any questions, just call me, text me something. I'm always happy to share and collaborate on how we can make this the best center in the Salt Lake Valley, because it will be by far, but it's a lot of work to get there.
Yeah, awesome. So I'll share her info. Also, I'll send this slides out and stuff for you guys to be able to use. Okay, thanks again. You guys have a good day.